Give me 5 seconds. Give me 5 seconds. Just 5 seconds to get everything ready, guys. Everything should be ready, guys. Wow. Whoa, GitHub. Symbol outline. Good God. Today, we're back with some more deprogramming, guys. And today we have a challenge right here. Straight up. You're going to use slices to do this shit. Now, I don't remember what slices do, other than take a slice. So it should be pretty easy. Since we're going to start with today, I believe we just need to do that. And then give some space for fucking... give some space for some shit up there. And we need to add... What the hell? Bro, why does the stream say it's fucking 6 p.m., bro? Why is my stream saying it's 5:50? What the fuck, bro? God damn, the timeline says it's 5:58 p.m. Wow. Wow. Bro, it fucking says... Is my VPN systems are just that good? Veepin. Straight up Veepin. Veepin! Okay, anyway. So we have space here for our variables or arrays that we're going to put in there. Then over here, put void main, and then, of course, this. Oh, fucking hell. Good God! This is what I get for using Kate every time I do this shit. Kate is cringe. So what we need to do is actually do this shit. Where it puts in that, and then it will cut anything above 10. It should put anything above 10 into half. So we're going to take a double for that. So it says double A and or good God, what am I doing? Good God, double A. Oh my God. Double A. Yeah. Equals, and then we're gonna have the user put in input for this. Warning: the stream's current bit rate 1621 kilobyte per second is lower than the recommended bit rate. We recommend you use a stream bit rate. It's gonna be fine, bro. YouTube straight up on techity, guys. On techity. Double. This shouldn't be that hard. Alright, so we're just gonna take a read. Actually, let's do a while loop and then do our readf. This shit is easy. Prime numbers will make us die. We'll just do an unconditional while loop and then we'll have a break statement. Actually, yeah, no, it might be better to have a break statement. While through readf %s comma and sign wow A. So that means anything you put in here will get put on A. Semicolon. Oh, by the way, semicolon here. So now that's gonna give us our array, and then it's gonna do a write let's see. Before we do that, this loop will wait until we have 1. And then it will break. So we also can't do that either. This shit here. Can we do that? That's actually a good question. What I want to do is have it break if it receives a -1. That's obviously like easy as shit to have it break when it does a -1. I don't remember how I did it before. I could just go back and look at the other stream where I did that shit. Honestly, that might be what I do. But no, we had a -1 for that, where it would take a -1, and then if it has a -1, it will stop. We could also do, we could just do a separate variable. So this will be the int inp. All right, let's just call it integer int. I don't know if it's gonna need to be an array. Let's just give it int b. I think we won't need an array. I think we'll. Yeah, we'll have int b. And then when it hits -1, int b is gonna just store -1, right? So, oh, we probably do need to have that. No, it will be fine. We'll use b for this part. So, actually, by the way, this has to, if one is a double, they both have to be a double. I don't know how to convert between doubles yet, so I'm not that expert about this shit. One if statement for if b equals -1, and then it will be like that's the, or actually let's just do less than 0. Does that's not gonna work, bro? Don't fucking try less than 0. Let's not do that. Let's just go with what we know works. Let's do a solid -1. If b equals -1. Break, and then it will fall into another loop, which will also be unconditional. I'm feeling really like I want to do a shitload of unconditional loops today. So this will just be a break. Else, if, and of course everybody's favorite statement will come with the else if. We'll do, actually we'll just do an else, right? It'd be good to just do an else. Who cares? Else. Also, we should put in a statement so that way the user knows what they're actually doing. Write ln. Actually, we'll put that in the main loop. Write ln, and then, of course, write a number, comma, -1 to quit, colon. Yeah, great stuff, guys. Great stuff. Space. Do a double space. So then we have our break statement, we have our else if. We don't need an else if, I think. I think we're fine to just use an else. And then we'll put in our else statement. Important note about this. Actually, as long as we're only dividing shit that's above single-digit numbers, we'll be fine. So, if b... So a way of doing this without using a slice would be to say, if we take in b and it's above 9, then divide it by 2. Right? Now that's a way of doing it, but since it wants us to use a slice for this, iterate over the elements of an array, or doubles, and have the ones that are greater than 10. Example given the following array. So if we had this array, we want to take that using a slice, and then give half values and put it back in there in the exact same spot. Which I'm not sure how easy that's going to be. I don't remember much about when we read about these, so I might have to reread some today. But obviously it's not that difficult. Here's another thing to know, is that with these arrays, or with these slices, when we take a slice of something, it automatically sets that first index to 0. So let's keep that in mind. Whoa. You can use this to replace every index of an array with another array. That's cool. I didn't actually get that far in reading it, did I? I must have stopped like halfway through it. But anyway, we know else, and then we want to have it saved to the array. So then it will just go ahead and save A and then equals, because it's a dynamic array, we'll do B. Then we'll need to create our slice, which will be called C, and will also be yet another double. There we go. Now that shit looks mighty beautiful, if I do say so myself. Very great syntax, guys. I'll pat myself on the back for my shitty syntax today. Let's go ahead and investigate further. What are we gonna do next? Whoa. Program, Alright, so the next step would be to actually write out another while loop, I would assume. Another, I guess we'll do a while true again. Actually, that means the break is gonna be on the inside. However, well, we want to take that negative one. We want to get that shit. If so, we would want an index, or one of the indexes of this. The last one contains a negative one, is what we know. So if, and then equals a negative one, then we need to take that out and somehow get that information from there. So as it goes through, it takes a slice of it. Honestly, it would be easier to just not use a fucking slice. Let's be honest. Who wants to use a slice for this? I don't. I definitely don't want to use a slice for this, but I mean, it's our only choice, because the book is telling me to do it. Bro, the book is dumb. Wow, this is a brand new lighter. God damn. I found that shit on the side of the road. God damn. But yeah, we would obviously want to take, do it the way the book wants us to do it. Let's just go to the start of the arrays chapter, because I don't really remember what it wants me to do. Alright. So, arrays are cool. Bro, arrays are not cool. So you want to have a slice. A slice will be this. Sign slice 1. Using capacity to determine whether sharing will be terminated. I mean, it doesn't really... I don't really remember much about these, but I'm guessing the slices do a lot of shit that we need. Wow! Wow! Let's just check, right? Let's see. I mean, obviously they're gonna do a lot of shit that we need, but anyway. So int first quarter equals that shit by those shits. Perfect. Wow. Wait, but how am I gonna do that with a slice? So for example, a slice, how do you do that? Well, you would do for the length of the array. Perfect. Array.length. So if we want to take a slice that's the length of the array, we would just do something like this, I guess. Array.dupe makes a new array from the copies of the elements of an existing array. Oh, okay. So that's probably going to be important to the problem solving. I figure we will end up using array.dupe to create a copy of the arrays. Yeah, because it would just be copying the data over. Well then, of course, if we are dividing it by 2, right? Here's another thing to know. How do you do math, right? You take a number divided by 2. 1 divided by 2 obviously is 0.5, but that's just because, well, how do you do that even? Well, we could easily solve this by doing something other than division. We don't have to divide. For example, if you have 20, well, you just have to subtract half of 20 from it. Easy, just figure out what half of 20 is. Okay, wait, that actually still involves division. Division is just a fundamental aspect of math. So this is shorthand for the length of the array. Obviously, we're gonna need that shit. Length of array to fucking array, the end of it. Oh, wow. Wait, so that's just the length of the array? I want all elements copied over into the array. Alright, so then obvious limitation is that the beginning index cannot be greater than the end. Here's obviously the array for multiple indexes. It is legal to have the beginning and end indexes to be equal. In that case, the slice is empty, the index is valid. Slice array index dot dot index the length. Oh wait. The length of slice is 0. Okay. Oh, what's this shit? As an example, is to find an array that contains a number of days of months. Wow! A method is to take a copy of the non-leap year array and then increment the element that corresponds to February. Alright, so you would take the leap year and you'd put it into here. And you would, oh. Ew. So, I think the way I would do this is do a 2-part section, and it will just, one part's a reader, where it reads out a number, where each index gets read out into the thing. That way we can determine our different quantities and shit. So let's head over into our into this shit. So while true, and then we're gonna add in the same shit we just did, pretty much. But we're gonna reassign b to 0 after this point. So once it breaks for that first time, b is going back to 0. Okay, that way b, anything going on with b, and that has to happen every time. I mean, it should be pretty much reassigned. And every time you do this shit, it will be reassigned. So we'll reassign b to 0 as we go through it. And then the next stage is going to be pretty simple. We're going to just have some if statements inside of my while true loop, so that way I can determine what I'm going to do with this shit. So if b, well actually, we're going to take array, we need to increment every time, so we're just going to take, let's go ahead and make b into an array so I have more to work with. We're going to add 1 to this. So anywhere we see b, we're going to have 0. Reason being, I like to use arrays. This shit's carcinogenic, bro. We're going to put a 2 there. So that way we have 0 and 1. So then b0, if b0 is 0, then it's perfect. b0. b0. Wow. Whoa, Charizard. Okay, perfect, guys. Alright, then we'll have b1++. Every single iteration, b1 will plus+. That way we know, oh hey, b1++. That way we know which count we're on. So we'll do plus b1. b1's the counter. Then if we need to add a second one, we can always add set this to 3, and then we'll have b2 as well to play with. So should make shit easy. So now this will be a counter loop, which will just read off each number. And then, I mean, I'm not really sure where the slice part comes into play. Because I mean, what can I do? May terminate sharing. I mean, slices aren't like something I would really need to use much. Right? Like, I mean, like, how would you use a slice? How would you guys use a slice even? What would you guys even use a slice for? Explicitly increasing the length of a slice makes it leave sharing as well. On the other hand, shortening the slice does not affect sharing. Shortening the slice merely means that the slice now provides access to fewer elements. I mean indexes? Indexes? Indexes. In Texas, guys. Indexes in Texas. God, we're doomed. Alright, so then, so where do we go even further? Using capacity to provide whether sharing will be terminated. So what is this? There are cases when slices continue sharing elements even after an element is added to one of them. This happens when the element is added to the longest slice and there is a room at the end of it. Okay. I really don't know what to do with a slice in this. Because all I'm going to do is read the numbers. Reserving room for elements? Interesting. Wait a second. Is this finding different values? Assign a specific value to all elements? Interesting. That's not really what we're looking for. That's just basic shit right there. I mean, that would be useful because I'm going to be like, oh man, I need to have this. Oh, wait, modification? The modification for slice 2 affects slice 1 too. Okay, so slice 2 is 42 and then the next one's 43. Ah! So right line slice before and then it's just slice 1, slice 2, slice 3. Writes it out 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And then slice 2. So once we get to slice 1 here, so it changes that and slice. Okay, that's cool. Multi-dimensional arrays. So far we've used arrays with only fundamental types like int and bubble. The element type can have actually be any other type, including other arrays. What the hell? This enables the programmer to define complex containers like array of arrays. Good God, I love that shit. Bro, arrays aren't the best. I'm gonna put it on a fucking t-shirt. Hashtag I heart arrays. The elements of all of the arrays that we have defined so far have been written in two-dimensional array. Let's define, okay, so you would add an array, then you have an array assigned to each index of your array. I would assume. Oh, it's array times array. Wow. Called because they can be seen as having 2 dimensions like a fucking square. Perfect. The new state of the array. So now it will be a comma between each array segment. So this is actually pretty handy, I would say, because if we're going to be doing inventory systems, this is going to be a useful shit to have. Arrays and elements can be fixed length as well. The following is a 3-dimensional array, where all dimensions are fixed length. Very fascinating. Yes. Good job. Good job, guys. Can be seen as 4 pages of 3 rows and 2 columns. What about a 4-dimensional array? Is that going to be 4 books of 4 pages of 3 rows and 3 columns? Bro, that'd be cursed. We're going to be making some cursed shit with this. Fixed length arrays own their element slices, provide access to elements. Blah, blah, blee, blah, blah, blah. That dupe makes a new array. Then, of course, we get to here. The following expression shortens the slice from the beginning. Try to use only the features of slices. So you can start with a slice that provides access to all the elements. Then you can shorten the slice from the beginning and always use the first element. Slice equals slice 1 and then boom, boom, boom. I don't even know how to do that. I mean, I've read this shit, but I do want to see the solution, actually. I am quite curious. Alright, slices and other array features. Iterating over elements by consuming a slice from the beginning is an interesting concept. This method is also the basis of Phobos ranges that we will see in later chapters. Later chapter. Oh, in a later chapter. Wow. Taking a slice of the array. Slice.length. If the the first value of the slice is 10, divide that value by... Oh, that makes sense. Okay, let's forget what we're doing. So what he does, okay, so in his program, he does double, and then he's going to do array. And then, like, he takes a slice of it, and whatever that first value of the slice is, now I'm guessing he increments the slice value. Actually, that's what I'll do. Oh god, that would probably turn everything into fucking zeros. Hold on. So, what he's probably actually doing, he might be just reducing the length of the slice. Yeah, shortening the slice of, or the slice from the beginning. So it'd be... And then he's probably writing it to another array. We could do something like that. That's a great example of how to do it. We could completely reverse engineering everything I just did. Or, that's going in this while loop anyway, so. We can remove the plus B1. I think we can do that. That's my incrementing clock. We're gonna remove that because we can just take a slice instead. So instead of having to worry about the numbers, right? We could, okay, so here's my idea. Instead of doing what he's doing, where he's taking, if the number is bigger than 10, let's do every third number. Try every, fucking hell, bro. Third number? Nah, not even. Let's just go ahead and do what he's doing. It's easy as hell. So we do need to declare slices. Where does that happen at? Does he do that? He does it inside the loop, as always. I don't know why he does this shit. But yeah, double slice equals array. Then you'll do slice.length and shit. Let's just get off of this page because it's going to give me too many answers. We know it's possible now. That's all I wanted to know. We're going to do double. And then, how does this work again? We declare our double slice. That's an array. So our slice would be declared as double and then slice just like a regular array. Or actually, how does he do it in the initial section? It's a good thing to do this practical exercise. Very good thing. In slice, in half, and in quarter. Those are different lengths, I guess. Scrolling up. Wow, slice, half, quarter, evens, odds, and then slice. You could also use this to do all, we could probably do a fizzbuzz with this shit. Honestly. We'll just do this, we'll just think I know what I'm doing and fucking roll with it at this rate. We'll call it S and we'll put an equal and then a fucking bracket. Hell yeah. And then we're gonna do, once we get to the actual section, we're gonna take that, we're gonna do S, and then we're gonna put in our dynamic array. And then we're gonna do, let's see, what was it? S equals, and then you would do, your actual slice can be like $sign, -1, or like this shit. But at the bottom, he specifies the way he does it, which is to take this, and every time, shortens, the following expression shortens the length from, shortens the slice from the beginning. Although there are many solutions to this problem, try using only features. But then, of course, how does he shorten it from the beginning? That's the real question. So we'll have to scroll back up. I think maybe that excludes one. How does that work even? I know that the dollar sign is a shorthand for length, though. That's what I do know. Shorthand for the array length. Perfect. And then, of course, I mean, if we were to do an iteration, we'd just increase the number every time. I don't know. I actually think a slice might be relatively useful when it comes to pulling information from the array. Shortens the slice from the beginning. Oh, hold on. So yeah, we're gonna assign, after we get this, we're gonna take, in this section, I'm gonna backspace on this shit. I'm gonna take a slice, we're gonna take S, and then we're gonna do this. We're gonna take the length of the array, right? The length of the array. Whole length. And then, of course, next step. Right? So we want to take length of the array, and then we're going to do equals, and then we'll just put in A, because that's my array, and then perfect. I'm pretty sure that will compile, and it shouldn't get mad at me, but I'm really questioning if that's actually the case. Honestly, odds are not in my favor. It's more than likely going to just end up being completely wrong. But it's okay, it will tell me. Then I can compile it, and then it will be okay again. And I'll just keep doing that until it becomes not mad, and then it will start working. And when it's working, it will be broken, but it will still be working. So here's the other thing, is that if it really doesn't work, I can always just put a right line and then put bug on it. Where I think it's broken. That's how I do bug testing, is I just put a right line wherever I think it breaks at, and then have a bug. So it just keeps writing bug over and over again. Let's see, we have that. So that's gonna take the slice. And then obviously next up we'll do, so do we want S equals A? Are we taking a slice of, so how do we take the slice then? Do I want to take the whole fucking thing, or couldn't I just do it like, oh wait, that's why he does it that way though. Let's go back up where he teaches us about that shit. Because we want to know the shorthand, right? But let's see. He teaches it like way up here. Okay, so this is the shorthand for the array length. -1. And then, of course, if we're doing it that way, I think what we'll do is assign our slice A. We'll just assign our slice to A, okay? Here's my idea. Assign the whole slice A, the length of it, every single index to the slice. And then we'll use that. Because we still need to assign it to something, and, well, actually, A is not a slice by definition. A is just a fucking array. Let's just make it make sense, right? Do that. And then, of course, the whole length of the array gets assigned to S. Pretty sure that's the correct format syntax. Go ahead and do that shit straight up. Now add on our wonderful code that will iterate it every time, which will be just S equals, and then we'll subtract 1 from S every time. And we'll do the length of S -1 every single time, because that's the way to go. Actually, this is a dot, which will, and then -1. That way it knows it's a slice. Then after it hits, that's when we give our if statements for S. So we'll do an S0 every time. I think that's how his code works. We'll steal the ideas that we learned from looking at that guy's code. So we'll do if, put it in our fucking shit. We'll want to check if the index 0, S0 equals -1. That's the first thing I want to check. Because if that equals -1, we need to break immediately. Because then it will get us out of this loop, so that way we don't end up dividing 0 or some shit later. I mean, it won't divide 0, it will just be in an endless loop of doing this shit over and over again until it eventually hits the point where the array just stops getting lower and lower. So we obviously you can't have an array index that's not existent. So if that happens, which it would happen in that case, I figure that's what would happen, honestly. So we need to go up with the next step. So if that happens, put a break. That way it will exit this unconditional loop. True. Wait, what? What am I doing? Alright, so next up we'll need an else and then an if. And I think what I'll do here is say S is greater than 10. And then the last one will be now if it's not greater than if S0 is greater than 10, then it will need to divide by 2. That's the whole idea of the program he's written. We're just doing it in a weird way. So then we'll do S0 divided by 2. So that means 11 will get divided by 2. That means any number above will get divided by 2. And then we will have to save that to the new array. So that means it needs to be saved onto the new array. Now, of course, every time it does this, we need to save it. So then we need to add the S0 to our array. So we should, after we take that after we take this number, I think we'll reset the array A, and we'll just completely set it to 0. But I forgot how to do this shit, reset it to 0. I don't believe you can just set an array all to zeros. We'll just say A equals null. I'm pretty sure that works. If not, who knows? Good God. We're doomed if it doesn't work, but actually, we'll just try 0. And then it will get reassigned later. I don't know about that. We'll just do A equals 0 for now. I think that's the move. I think that's the safe move. Or actually, A equals... so what you would actually do is if you want to really clear it out, instead of setting it to 0, obviously, that would just add... Well, it wouldn't even add. It would just fucking probably set the first index to 0. So it wouldn't even work. What you should do is A dot length equals 0. So this will set the length of A to 0. Because length is a property of your array. So if we do A dot length equals 0, should get rid of every single fucking piece of data in the array. Every single index. Goodbye. But I do like arrays, guys. But sometimes it just do be this way, where we need to remove the data from the array. Bro, I'm playing with lighters right now. I don't know what I'm doing with my mind. Oh, let's not do that. Let's calm down, guys. Let's calm down. Bro, go ahead and do the next step. So you have S0 divided by 2, and then you'll save it to A. Now, if it's -1, it has to break, because -1 is the last thing it's gonna do. So, we'll go ahead and do that. We should also put in some debug sequences in there, but, nah. I don't know. Equals, we'll do equals S0 after it does that, so that way it's in there. Boom, there's my S0. Wait a second. Wait a second. That is correct. Because B0 is the other one. The B array. I don't even need a B array anymore. I think I can get rid of that. I think I only see B0s everywhere. So yeah, we'll probably get rid of that if we don't need it later. Alright. The next one is going to be an else. This is the final else statement. It will just save it to the array. Actually, it will also be an else if, and then we'll have to do if it's not greater than, if it's greater, or actually this one should be greater or equal to 10, correct? Does he allow 10s in his numbers? Let's scroll on to the bottom of this. So did he, yeah, he chose to allow 10. Wait, no he didn't. No, he just chose to divide anything greater than or equal to 10. So yes, we'll do greater than or equal to 10, and then we should be good to go for that one. So then we'll have to do the opposite here. Now, here's a funny thing. That's not how you do that. That's an assignment type of thing there. It's like a weird assignment thing. So let's go ahead and fix that. So if that's greater than or equal to 10, then this is actually how it should be written, because it's written the opposite way. And then of course, if we do the opposite there, then that's the way to write 10 is greater than or equal to these. But we're going to remove that equal than sign and just say it's 10. Because we already have an equal sign here, so it will cover that number anyway. And then next up is going to be adding in this. And not that. Oh god. What did I just fucking do, bro? And then that's the last part of it. So that will be just adding it to the array. That is how it's done, I believe. Now, that will be while true. So it will keep going through this bracket until it becomes not true or breaks. Which in this case, we're just going to use a break. Because that's unconditional. There's no way to make that not true. But if we had a statement there, the statement is Boolean. So anything inside of the parameters for the while function, the while loop, is obviously going to be outputted as true if it's a statement. So like if you have like, for like this, if this is registering as Boolean and shit like that. Makes sense, right? Then that should all just work. Which we're just going to go ahead and compile it. dmd slice.d. I think we just do dmd.slice. Oh, and here we go. Some fun shit. Alright, looks like we screwed up some shit right there, bro. B equals, where is B equals at? Oh? Oh? What did I do, bro? What did I cook? Oh, I expected a DMD slice. Wait, what? Expression expected, not that. Oh. You don't do that on these, by the way. For example, you don't need that there. That's basic, bro. How did I screw that shit up? It's okay. We all start somewhere. All right, so we fixed that. Readf is expecting found readf. Expect when oh, somewhere I'm missing a bracket on this right line. That one's an easy fix. It's a good thing to learn how to fix shit. And then of course, here's where shit gets dumb. Cannot implicitly convert expression $sign of type double to double brackets. Let's see. That means I've screwed up a slice, which is not a new thing I have never experienced before. Wow! I think if we do that, it will be fine, and the world will be full of rainbows and unicorns. We have one more to do. I apparently am right on that. I'm actually surprised that I came up with that. My brain cell gave me the logic I need to come up with that. Alright, so then of course, you can't divide S0 by 2 apparently. Which also is a statement that's really amazing. Hold on, before we do anything with this shit, we're gonna cut that, and we're just gonna paste it right here. Because that's just telling me that you don't do S divide by 2, and then try to assign it. No, you do that in the assignment itself. So, that now assigns S divided by 2 for 10. So that also reduces our lines of code, slightly. Even though this is definitely the worst way of doing this, I feel like. I feel like I could have gone it down in a lot less with some basic brain cell logic. All right. Oh, after this while loop, right? So this while loop ends here. We're gonna put a write ln, and then we're gonna do this array. And then boom, boom, comma, and then just put a. So what this does, in theory, first we take our array values in that first loop. And then when it receives a -1, it will stop. The -1 is the endpoint. So like if we set a -1 up here, it will also still be the endpoint by the time we get down here. There is one exception. Actually, no. Because we're going to assign our array of... what was it? Oh, also... Actually, that should be fine. So, but yeah, this happens before we even get to the assignment step, so that will be okay. And it's going to... let's just remove B0s, because I don't believe we need an array for B0 anymore. It's like another good thing we should do. And I think I only used the B for the assignment part of it. For assigning new values to the array, we used the B state, the B variable. Now it's not a B array anymore. And that should just work. But then the second loop will take a cut of it. And then every time it will take less of a cut of it. So it will just continue to take cuts of the array and then reassign it to itself. And decrease its own value. So like here, it's assigning, the slice is going to assign itself -1 every time. So that way it will run, I think. Keywords I think, which is also a terrible answer to most questions. And of course, we can also forget that shit and then screw everything up. That is also part of the plan. So we're gonna hit that shit. We should be able to do /slice. Write a number, 1 to quit. So we'll put in 1, 2, 23, 24, 12, 13, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because I want to see what happens with 10. That's also a good question. 11, and then -1. So if -1 works, it will quit and go to the next loop. Then, of course, core exception array index error at slice. Index 11 is out of bounds for array length of 11. Which means what? What does that even mean? It means that the index 11 is out of bounds for the array length of 11. Perfect. Perfect shit. Wow, amazing. Put that in the corner. So we know that the first segment works. The first segment's easy. That's just a basic assignment step. All you do is put in some numbers. 1. We'll figure it out. And then when you hit -1, BCS of D is 0 based. I don't even know what that means, man. And then we hit this. So I'm thinking what happens is that it doesn't quit soon enough with this loop here. Man, I'm like the world's shittiest programmer. Bro, I don't even know what this guy's talking about. Maybe it's because D is 0 based. Maybe that's what he means. I don't know. I don't think that's the problem. Should be assigning S0. Maybe it's hold on. Let's put a thing here. Let's go ahead and check this, because I have a theory that it breaks after this. So we'll put right ln, and then we'll do some debugging. Debugging, guys. Wow. Some debugging. Straight up copy and paste this shit in a couple places just to get an idea of where the actual problem is. Because I didn't think about this, but this might be the issue. Honestly, if that's the issue, that makes it so much easier than figuring out how the other shit's an issue. Because at least that shit's familiar. And it's easier to solve a familiar thing than the rest of it. 32, 65, and... okay, those are some good numbers. -1. Oh, if you do 0, you're screwed. Okay. So it doesn't even get to those. So does it stop here then? It must stop right here, guys. It must stop right here. After this B0. Setting B equals to 0. And then, of course, array length of 8 is out of bounds for a... Oh, that's also... Oh, I figured it out. We're not... I don't know if that's correct, though. Let me just... let me check the book. The book has the answers when I need them. Equals slice. Oh. Guys, I might be a little dumb. But I'm pretty sure that's shit's why it's not working. Let's try it again. We're gonna do DMD. That's oh. Maybe it needs. Does it need this here? Try that. Because if that just means it adds shit to it. That just appends it to the end. All right, we'll do 1, 2, 7, 76, 68, 43, and 23. -1. Does it reach anything? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So is it breaking here then? Is this the issue? Or is it that the B is still an issue right here? Like it's still assigning B to it or some shit. We'll figure that out. 1, -1. Index 1 is out of... Okay. Which array is it, though? Oh, debugging, so it made it to that. Right? Okay. Am I assigning shit correctly? That's the issue. We're not assigning shit correctly. I don't think that's... I think that's the case here. I think that's what the issue is. We're not assigning shit correctly. We want to assign all the values. So the array.length. Let's just check the book for the answers, guys. I'm telling you, book's got the answers when we need it the most. The book of D. D programming, guys. The book of D. Let's see. Reducing the length of array in different ways does not terminate the sharing either. Beautiful. I don't know what that means, guys. Wow. Wait. Maybe it's because we reset the array. Maybe I don't understand slices correctly, but I think slices are just assigning a segment of the array to a new array. Is a slice a new array or just a portion of the old array? Is that how that works? Slice is a... Oh, you know what we could do? We could just do assign it as a dupe. We could do a.dupe, and then that's how we assign it. That would be a way of doing it. Let's try that out. Let's try assigning it as a.dupe. I'm betting that this is also gonna break too, guys. A.length can't be 0. Well, it's not 0. It has. I'm not sure I understand, because the length would not be 0 if we've already appended multiple numbers to it. So it should be like A8 or some shit like that. It was telling us the length is. The length is lengthy. Length is lengthening, guys. That's what it's telling us. Okay. Check line 20. Maybe. Well, that's not the problem anymore, or is it? Yeah, I got through all 3 of these. No, that was not the problem at all. Because this, see, if you set the array length to 0, then it just means you've basically just done this, basically. Means array A is going to now be that, which is nothing anyway. It just gets rid of everything on the array. It clears it. This is interesting. Wow. Array slice error, since maybe it's because I didn't put any numbers in. Let's try running it again with numbers. 10, 12, 9, 7, 6, 11, 2, and -1. Range violation. What the? Oh, wait. Maybe it is a problem. It only got through one of them. So it got through one of my debugging. Which means that this is not allowed. So a.dupe is not allowed? Good God. It's trying to do... And it's on line 18. Oh, yeah. Perfect. Wow. Okay, this will not work. I'm not sure why this wouldn't work, though. This wasn't even working the time we tried it before. Maybe let's try this again. Let's do this again. See if that might be the issue. I don't know. Pretty sure you can do that other shit. So it gets past the first one. Gets to here and then it stops. So that means on line 18 again. Unless I am not understanding... I don't think I'm understanding the arrays. Or how to do the slice. Double copy equals array.dupe. So that would be array.dupe. Gives you elements of the existing arrays. When indexing, that's a shorthand for the length of the array. The last element. So through 1. So I guess I would just do that. Let's try that out. Let's try let's try adding a -1 on this. Is that? Yeah, let's fix that too. I am now realizing something really interesting with earlier. Get rid of that. That's wrong. Let's see if we have any other other things that do that shit. Reference things in the weird ways like that. Oh, that's not allowed. That's not allowed? What the fuck? Ah! Terrible, guys. Terrible. Cannot implicitly convert expression S $-1 of type double to double. Wow. This is amazing. But I'm pretty sure the code at the bottom that we're trying to do is gonna do that exact same shit. Ah, it's just shortens the length of the slice from the beginning. Oh, that's the one we need there. Correct? Backwards. Try that. And then for the top one, we'll recompile and see if that fixed. See if we've Okay, it's working again. So I'm actually surprised that this shit worked. If I'm being honest. It was a very nice, pleasant surprise that I saw that this shit worked. So it makes it through all 3 debugging. And then we hit core array slice 23. So on line 23, it's trying to take that and do that. Has a larger lower index than upper index. Okay. Well, at least we made it somewhere with this. At least we made it through the first section. Like I said, I didn't think it was a.length. I think that's fine. It would appear to have worked. A.length has done its purpose, but now we've run into this issue. So slice 1, and then ... 0. So the index 1. Oh. What? Hold on. How does that work? Following expression shortens the slice from the very beginning. Do I need to set the slice index from the start? Okay, hold on. Go back up to where he has the fucking shit for that. Whole lot of back and forth today. Good God. So in the... here. $sign -1. Oh. That's not... he's not assigning that. I mean, technically I'm trying to assign that. So that would be the length of the array -1. So what does that write out? So you have your lower index and your upper index, and we had our lower index larger than the upper one. So that was the issue. So I'm guessing I did this backwards. Or, let's check. It's not backwards. I think it's how he had it on the bottom. Couldn't be backwards. Clearly couldn't be backwards. 1. And then the length of it. So... how does that work? 1 and then... maybe it's because the length of the actual shit is destroyed. Maybe the slice, the S of S is not going to be that. I'm going to recompile and just try it again. I didn't change anything though. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 65, 76, 89, -1. Slice 1 ... or slice index 1 of 0 has larger lower index than upper index, which again is the same error message from before. So I'm figuring that we're not actually assigning our length inside of one of these. One of these is not getting assigned. What if we just remove this shit? Well, let's just do 0 ... and then do $sign. Fucking hell. Let's do it again. Wow. Let's not have it fail this time. Range violation again. Slice on D18 this time. Which is because, well, obviously you can't have that. So we'll just say that's 1 to the next one, because that can't be 0. For the array length, index 1 would be A1. 12, 65, 43, 23, 12, and -1. D18 is a range violation. Bro, I fucking hate slices now. Slices are cringe. Straight up. But is the question, is the slice an array violation, or is So would this be the range violation, or would that be the range violation? I mean, we're just trying to copy it over, right? I can't just do equals a.dupe, right? The fucking dot dupe. Try to print the array before the slice. Okay. That sounds like a plan. Yeah, that's the move. We'll try comma, and then we'll do a. That should print it out. dmd.slice, and then we'll do ./slice, write our shit on here, and we'll see what we can figure out from this. Alright, range violation. Oh! Oh, fascinating. Wow, -1 isn't even included in there. So, it reaches this part. -1 doesn't get included in there. That's a good thing to know now. We still need to assign -1 because that's going to have to be read out later. That was a good suggestion because I caught that shit before that became an issue. That was going to become an issue later. Like I said, it would have been a part of the infinite loop, so that's a good catch. Alright, let's try compiling it again. I think maybe that might fix it. Like, there's like a 10% chance it fixes it. In line 23. Okay. Hold on. Alright, that's good. Oh! Core exception.range violation on 19. Oh. Wait, it's because I added a line. Whoops. So 24 now. Do we want to print out S? We'll do, right, ln. And then we'll just do S. S should be assigned by that point. Let's see. Ah. Forgot the fucking bullshit. Do it. Do it! Just do it! Perfect. 12 and 1 -1. Range violation. It doesn't even reach there. What the fuck? So does this have to be? It can't be that. Maybe the book is actually out of date or some shit. Who knows? Maybe I'm just fucking wrong about slices. I don't know why we'd listen to this guy and do his negative slice challenge bullshit. Bro, still out of okay. What if we don't even do that? Let's just say we don't even assign a value. Let's just try to assign A, the whole of A, to S. Let's just try that. S equals A. Let's not even put the fucking brackets in there. See if it gets angry. 12. Ah, perfect. It works this time. Who would have known? Nobody would have known. Except... Where did 67 go? Where did 123 go? Bro, 123 must not be divisible by, whatchamacallit. God damn. Hey, it works though. Look at that shit. It iterates it each time. Oh, it doesn't even have 123. It just has a 23. Wait a second. That's because the first one is going to be... Okay. When we do our dynamic array, let's do A equals and then just do 0. Right? So that will mean everything after that gets appended to 0. So when we do this, we'll do dmd.slice and then we'll do... I'll remove all the debugging in a second. But first, we're going to go ahead and check that it works. So we'll write 123, 65, 97, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and -1. Should give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that number. So as you can see, it just iterates it each time to decrease the value. Gets rid of 0, And it will still do all of the fun shit. So it will always exclude the first number, it would appear. That's why I have to assign 0 at the start. Which is kind of weird, but... I mean, it works. I'm surprised we even got this shit to work from the beginning. Wow. Who would have thought it was just that I had to do S equals A for it to be happy. Bro, this is the most programming shit of all time, guys. I swear. This is like... That's like the most programming shit ever. Let's do it again. Let's test it out just one more time just to make sure it's good for the challenge. Then we can move on to our next page of the book. Let's see. Let's give it a 289, 123, 345, 45, 34, 78, 65, 43, 23, 98, 1000, just to see if that does anything interesting. It shouldn't. 1, 2, 7, and -1. And -1's also excluded. Thank God, because you can't divide -1 or do anything with it. There's nothing that accounts for... Actually, does... Why is it excluded? That's actually weird as hell. Why is -1 excluded from my program? I don't know. I mean, I guess if S is... oh, actually, because it just breaks. That's why. So it will always exclude -1. Thank God. That just works, guys. That's perfect. And it's almost like my multiplication table script that I made yesterday. I also did that for a challenge. I was going to work on prime numbers as well, but, God. No. Prime numbers are a sin. Whoever created prime numbers is an absolute sinner. Straight from hell, bro. Straight from hell. Prime numbers, cancer. Satan spawn, bro. This is very nice, guys. 145, 144.5, 61.5, 172. I mean, it's just dividing shit, so it shouldn't be right anyway. 500. Ha! Let's try it with like 80% more numbers. Let's try it with a giant-ass number, like the integer limit, guys. Let's just put the copy and paste integer limit on every line. Bro, it wouldn't even get past the first line, it'd break. On techity, guys. Well, we've done a great job today. Let's get on to the next section of the book. Oh God. Why is it like this? All right, next. Strings. Oh, wait. Did we already cover this? I thought we already covered. Actually, here's what we did with strings. I got tired like halfway through the shit. Alright, we've used strings in many programs we've seen so far. Strings are the combination of two features that we have covered in the last 3 chapters, characters and arrays. In the simplest definition, strings are nothing but arrays of characters. For example, okay, so like this is the whole segment where he goes over that. Now let's just read about read-ln because I don't remember this. There are surprises even when strings from the terminal being character arrays. Strings contain characters like /n as well. So like obviously /n is a escape sequence for when you want to make a new line. When reading strings from the input, the control character that corresponds to the enter key is pressed at the end of the input becomes part of the string as well. Awesome. Well, that's because it just has to read that and then be like, oh shit, we've received something. And then it takes the enter sign and probably reads it in the computer. I'm guessing that's what it does. So that's why it's like that. And then, of course, what's the other shit? That's just for readf. Now read-ln, and it's probably different. I'm curious about what strip and read ln are, but I'm guessing strip is like a slice, and then read ln are just read line to an array or some shit. Like write line. Well, what's read line? Because this is just read f, read formatted. Read formatted does not work as intended when reading strings. Whoa! The enter key that the user presses after the name does not terminate the input. Readf continues to wait for more characters to add to the string. What is your name? Mert. The input is not terminated although pressing enter has been pressed. Let's assume that enter is pressed a second time here. One way of terminating the standard input stream in a terminal is pressing Control-D under Unix-based systems and Control-Z under Windows. For Linux, you can probably just hit Control-C and be fine, but if they're saying Control-D, it probably also works for that. But they're just saying standard input stream. Control-C will just stop any program, so if you ever need to stop a program in the Linux terminal, you just hit Control-C, for example, dmd.slice, or actually ./slice, and we just do our shit here. I'm like, oh shit, I don't want to do this anymore. Control-D, uh-oh. Oh god, it still wants to run, hit Control-C. I don't think Control-D is worth my time. I think Control-C, or caret-C in this case, is where it's at, because that will break it anyway. So, read ln stores the new line character as well. This is so that the program has a way of determining whether the input consisted of a complete line or whether the end of the of input has been reached. So that is what does that mean? Like it just stores read ln is more suitable when reading strings. Short for read line, read ln reads until the end of the line. It is used differently because the %s format string and the operator are not needed, because that's just for fucking strings, right? This would be just to say, oh, the format that we're expecting is a string, I guess. I have no idea what exactly this means. If you have any ideas, please let me know. I just know that this is important for readf if you want it to work. For some things. I don't know which things, but big shrug, guys. I have no fucking clue. Alright, let's continue. What is your name, Mert? Hello, Mert. And then the new line character before the exclamation point mark. Such control characters, as well as white space characters at both ends of strings, can be removed by standard string dot strip. So that just removes white space, doesn't it? So let's see. So the strip expression above returns a new string that does not contain the trailing control characters. Obviously, like a control character would be like when we hit the enter key, then that's the control character, I guess. I mean, it does say that, right? So like it was explaining that, oh, hey, if you hit like it's the control character is the end of the string. Formatted read for parsing strings. So then you would use, oh, hey, here's another thing. You need to have standard.string imported for this. So that's gonna, if you import standard.string, then that has the strip in it. Now there's standard.format for the other thing. But I'll be back in a second. I gotta go take a shit. I'll just leave you guys staring at the console. Actually, you know what? I'll let you guys read ahead. I'll be back in a bit. It'll take like 5 minutes probably. have returned at this time. It's time to get back to the work. Back to the grinding away at the task at hand. Whoa! Such gaming, guys. Truly amazing. Wow. That's amazing. If only I could set this up better. Wow, anyway. So formatted read for parsing strings. Once a line is read from the input or from any other source, it is possible to parse and convert separate data that it may contain with formatted read. The standard.format from the standard.format module. Its parameter is the line that contains the data, and the rest of the parameters are used exactly like readaf. Wow! Straight up amazing. Totally gaming. Whoa. Please enter your name, separated with a space. Mert, your name is Mert, and your age is 30. And it asks that on separate lines, I guess. Both readf and formatted read return the number of items they could parse and convert successfully. That value can be compared against the expected number of data items so that the input can be validated. For example, formatted read call above expects to read 2 items, a string as a name and an int as an age. So that's actually pretty useful because if you want to read 2 different things onto 2 different basic shit. Now, here's the other thing. With this, you have formatted read, right? So then you have formatted read, and then you have 2 of these. And I was really thinking about why that'd be there. But I just now had it pop into my brain cells that the reason you need it there... Why do I have notifications? Good God, Gordon. Gordon, why? But the whole reason it's there is because when you do that, it does do the thing that you want it to do. Well, also because there's two different variables he's assigning, so you have to have 2 different of these. That tells it to expect 2, I'm guessing. So the input can be validated, for example, as the formatted read call above expects to read 2 items, a string as a name and an int as an age. The following check ensures that it really is the case. You unsigned integer items, formatted read line, and then that and that. And then if it does not get 2 items, for example, so if you have an unsigned int for items equals formatted read, right? So like here it is, formatted read. But you can take formatted read, is what it would appear, and then assign it to items. Very fascinating. I think that's pretty interesting. And then you can use if items is not equal to to give them an error. Nice. Wow. So that's great programming right there. When the input cannot be converted to name and age, the program prints an error. Error, unexpected line. Yeah. Double quotes, not single quotes. We have seen that single quotes are used to define character string literals. String literals are defined with... String literals are used with double quotes. Okay. Characters are single quotes. Got it. That's how it works, guys. String, W string, and D string are immutable, just like car, W car, and D car. Wow! Correspond to 3 of... I don't think those are mutable. I don't even know what immutable means. We will see D's immutability concept in later chapters. Okay, thank you. Oh, cannot be mutated? Oh, okay. Okay, so that's good. I don't need to worry about that right now. If it's going to be in later chapters, cool. That's just for power users who somehow forget how to do strings. Brilliant. Brilliant! Then we'll just continue down. The program can be compiled and will print a modified... Oh, so if you just take a dupe of it, you could probably change that. Compilation error. What the hell is this? Similarly, car cannot be used where a string is needed. In such cases, the iDupe property, which if you don't know car, we've already covered, it will return a Unicode value for each letter it receives. Potentially confusing length of strings. We have seen that some Unicode characters are represented by more than 1 byte. For example, the letter E, Latin E, combined with an acute accent, is represented by Unicode endings using at least 2 bytes. This fact is reflected in the .length property of strings. Okay. Although, resume... Hey, that's not how you spell that shit in the United States of America. Here we write it R-E-S-U-M-E, not whatever French bullshit this is. That's illegal. Not in my Unicode, guys. Not in my Unicode. Oh, okay, continue. I don't think we need to worry too much about this. I mean, obviously, strings are important, but the only... I don't know where I would use this. Where would I need to use, like, the length of... I mean, maybe for encryptions. That's probably, like, the most important shit. Is probably for encryptions. Like, I wouldn't even know where to begin with that shit, though. Probably for doing encryptions, honestly. But I don't even know where to begin with fucking encryptions. That's a subject for when I'm a power user myself. Got a lot of steps to do there. Whoa! That's a lot of butane. Hell yeah, I like butane. Butane is best. Resume. 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 Sounds extra French, guys. When dealing with letters, symbols, and other Unicode characters directly, as in the code above, the correct type to use is dcar. Whoa! Dcar, guys. When in doubt, dcar it out. Probably not, actually. Probably know what you're doing and use the right character. But because it didn't use dcar, it doesn't have enough bytes for what goes in there. Because it's UTF-8 and not the other UTF-16. Alright, string literals. I don't think we need to... I don't think I'm ever going to need to worry about those, but wait. The type of string is dcar. There is a D at the end of the literal resume, specifying its type as an array of dcars. In any case, keep in mind that the use of dcar and dstring does not solve all of the above problems of manipulating... Honestly, we should, like, experiment with making our own encryption shit. You know, like, making an... So what we do, I say this, we take, like, we take a string, right? and take the values of the string. We'll have all of the numbers, and we'll take those numbers and we'll use a specific. That's where seeds come into play and shit, bro. Like seeds, like from Minecraft, where like you have a seed that allows you to be like, oh wow, if I have the thing, then oh god. Imagine my desktop unmounts itself. Good god. Gordon, we're doomed. We're doomed! What's going on in here? I find it's best not to even ask those questions. What are these? What the fuck? Oh. What the why do I have that shit in here? What the hell, bro? What is this shit? God damn. Bro. What am I doing? Downloading random shit now, bro. Straight up. God damn. Why is that my downloads folder now? It's defaulting that to my downloads folder, guys, I swear. Downloading my memes of hot dogs and shit. It ain't happening, bro. It's going into the fucking wrong folder now. It's going into d.fizzbuzz. String concentration, since they are actually arrays, all of the array operations can be applied to strings as well. Oh, so like slicing, string greeting, and so you can append. Ooh, that's important. So what we could do, right? Since what he's telling me is a string is an array, what I can do now is encrypt a string. We're gonna try it out. Let's give it a shot, guys. Let's give it a shot. I don't know much about encryption, but what I do know is that you need a couple things. We're gonna need a hash. We're gonna need something that's standard that we can base both our numbers on. So when we have an endpoint for our encryption, so if, like for the decryptor, right? It needs to have an endpoint for it as well. Like it needs to have that same point. So just to create a new folder, we'll call this encryption 1, just to say it's it's our most basic form. But and obviously there's a lot of shit to consider here with this. Like I don't really know too much beyond needing the seed, and both parties need the seed, and a hash, because if you put a hash in it, it makes it 80 times harder to figure out what the fuck's going on. Now, here's even better shit. If I put a hash, that's extra fun, right? So let's say we have to have a seed for the hash, and the hash isn't just a hash, like where you just append a hash to it and be like, wow, this is the hash. Let's scramble the hash in with it to make it worse. Okay, so that's going to be our goal. Our end goal for today's stream is going to be to create this kind of idea. So we're going to create a text file. We're going to call it encrypt. Yeah, perfect. Okay, cool. And then rename it to .d. I said rename it to .d, please. Perfect. .t, guys. Oh wow, we'll become a .t programmer. We're gonna be British until the Americans throw all of the .t files into the ocean. Nobody's gonna stop us. Truly. Okay, so we need to do our imports. So import std, stdio, standard dio. And then perfect, go down. I believe he is the import standard string. Then right, then boom. So then he does that in void main. So we'll import standard string as well. I want to have it so I can see what he's doing, kind of. Let's just shrink this down. Actually, no. Keep it like that. Standard d.string, semicolon, then go down where we can assign our integers and our different arrays and shit. When I use arrays, I'm going to use like 30 arrays for this program, guys. people are like, why do you use so damn many arrays? But that's because if an array is a variable, why would I ever use a variable if I don't need a variable? I'm sorry, I'm just being fucking stupid when I do that. I have no idea why I use so damn many arrays, guys. I use more arrays than you use variables. Probably. Alright, here we go. Then for this, what do we want to do? We're going to want to have a readf. So we're going to actually, before we even get into that, we're going to do write write. We'll just do a regular write, and then no need to add ln or anything. For this, that's going to make a string, and we're going to write out input string to encrypt. So now, what we're going to do for this is we're going to add a... Yeah. Just gonna do this shit. Do a colon and a double space. I think I might be getting ahead of myself with this shit, because I think this is way too advanced for what I can do. But if we write in a string to encrypt, we're gonna want to do... So here's the thing. We're gonna... All the steps we do on the first section, we're gonna do in the second section. So that's gonna be the important part for decryption, is gonna be doing the same steps in reverse order. So we'll just write the same program twice. It's not even going to be to create an encrypted file or like some shit like that, but just to create like a basic kind of idea of how this could work for encrypting like an inputted text, for example. This is going to be what I'm going to try to go for with this. We'll do a readf. Do I want to do a readf? Is that what I want to do? What's he doing? He's doing write, and then he's doing... Oh, perfect. So he's just putting it into a string name. Let's try that out. And he's just doing readln. I don't believe we need to use the standard D format import for this. Let's check up here and see what that even has in it that I would want. I mean, it does have some useful features. We want to, at the end of the day, what we want to do is get the integer numbers for each of the, or not. We might not even need to do that. Because I was thinking convert the letters to integer numbers for each Unicode letter. That way, it's a way of determining technically which each one is. To do that, we would just copy the same program we made earlier. And then every time it iterates, it will read out one of the numbers. And then we would be like, okay, that's... And there's also different types of shit that you can do technically to make shit unreadable. Like scrambling and like... I mean, that's like really ancient stuff, isn't it? Alright, we're gonna do string... I think it's called string, and then I think that he just does string to declare that it's a string, and then name, and then we'll read line, and then appends name to hello. Ah, so you could just append that shit onto there. Concatenation. Since they are actually arrays, all of the array operations can be applied to strings as well. Concatenates two strings, for example, this string, which isn't even stored in a variable yet. But it also means that it's appending this onto the end, concatenating it as it's, or concatenate, yeah, that shit on there. You can compare strings. Unicode does not define how the characters are ordered other than their Unicode codes. For that reason, you may get results that don't match your expectations below. Okay. Anyway, we are going to go ahead and create this masterpiece of a program. String. Then he assigns the value of, or the name of the string. So we'll have string, and then we'll call it E. E, guys. String E. I like that. That's a great naming convention. We'll standardize that for all my strings in the future. And then we'll do readln. That's what we'll do. We'll do readln. How does he do read lns usually? Oh, he's putting strip and then read ln. What does strip even do? Let's scroll up and find where it says anything about strip. Good God, where's the strip shit? Standard.string and then strip. Strip expression returns a new string that does not contain the trailing output. Okay, so we'll just also do the same shit. I don't know why he's doing it. I would need somebody to explain why I need to remove the trailing output. So we'll just do that, and then we'll do... I believe that's how that's done. The keywords I believe, I have no fucking clue if that's how that's done. Let's scroll down. There's some things in this world that you should never say. Like, I believe. I have no idea. Shit like that. Everybody should sound like they know what they're doing at least. Man, when I sounded like I knew what I was doing, people were like, damn, this guy knows this shit? I don't know shit. But it's one thing I learned. So you can, as long as you sound like you know what you're talking about, who's gonna stop you? Nobody. Wow. Such fire. Wow, such butane, guys. Let's continue. So that's gonna get our string. We're gonna test this, and then we're gonna write ln, and then we're gonna write out e. So that's gonna confirm that we have an input in here. Control S. Actually, now Control S. Perfect. We're gonna close this console because I don't even want to try that shit, bro. Don't even get started with the console. Console, guys, with a K. Whoa. Sudo DNF install. Guys, I'm a Fedora enjoyer. What about you? You guys enjoy Fedora? We need to do DMD. Zoom in so everybody can see what I'm doing. We must be watched at all times. Encrypt.d. You don't even need the D on the end, but who cares? It's not gonna stop me. The only time it will stop me is if I do this. /encrypt.d. Don't do that. That will screw us over. And then input string to encrypt. And then we'll just put in banana ln. It just writes ln. What the hell? Okay. Whoa. What? I'm a confused. I'm a confused. What? Oh. Oops. No wonder it's just writing ln. Bro, what the fuck am I doing? Somebody should have stopped me before that shit happened. Let's try that again. Okay. Perfect. Look, it does its job as intended. No white spaces. Let's try it without the we'll try that some other time. Okay, but at least we know it works. Who knows why you need the strip in there, but I guess for the extra white space, potentially. Alright, so now, what we want to do with E is then have a hash, which needs to be on both ends. Obviously, you wouldn't want to use the same, if you're really paranoid, you don't want to use the same hash more than one time. So you'd have a hash generator. But here's the issue, is how do you get both ends in sync? I don't know, so I'm not going to answer that question. I'm going to leave that to somebody way more intelligent. Probably some fucking genius guy who spends all day talking about encryptions, bro. Fucking encryption shit. Encrypt some shit, bro. It's the way to go. End-to-end encryption. That's the best technology for communications. Strip E equals... Well, actually, it's still traceable with end-to-end encryption. You need to have location free. So to do that, you have you use the Tor network. and you'll get the most advanced amount of anonymity plus encryption. Like, you're untrackable at that point, bro. Not only do they not, or you're going to be impossible to track down because they have to encrypt it every single time it stops at a place to actually be like, oh, this is the same person's shit. But they have to encrypt it at every single point. And that's, by the time they finish one encryption, you could have already switched to some other point. That's why Tor network is amazing. But it's not the end-all be-all. Obviously, you can track Tor traffic. Very interesting shit. But what I am gonna make is gonna be amazing. So with this, so it writes line E. If I take the characters of the shit, technically it's said that in here, string concatenation means that, wow, you can do that, and then you can append welcome to greeting. And then so that's append, and here's concatenate, which is adding something to something else. Please try the genome desktop. You want to see what I'm running right now? It will blow your mind. I'm running something unbelievable. Fedora. Guys, I'm running Fedora right now. Don't ask why I have 2D folders or why this shit's like crooked. I couldn't explain it. Hell, I don't even understand it myself. I'm running Fedora now. I'm a changed man. Fedora 43, guys. Please try the genome desktop. Hell no. We're gonna be a changed man. We're gonna use Fedora. The future. Whoa. Anyway. What is that? Was I ranting about Tor browser or some shit? Tor network. Tor network, amazing, guys. 10 out of 10 would recommend Tor network. Let's continue. Write input string to encrypt. String E equals strip read line, which is putting an input basically. Why not Fedora workstation? Well, I had Kubuntu with KDE Plasma, and then it broke. And then I was like, well, I still want KDE Plasma. It has a lot of really great features for normies like me. So then I was like, well, if Kubuntu's broken and every time I try to take a screenshot it don't even fucking work, I might as well follow the advice that those one people gave me. Because when I was installing it, I did a stream for it, and somebody told me to actually go use Fedora because Kubuntu was completely scuffed. And I didn't listen to them, and then I paid for that. So now I'm doing the right thing and listening to people who know what they're talking about. Bro, I was like, man, this guy's from like Reddit or some shit. He probably doesn't know anything, man. Nah, that guy knew everything. Fedora's the move. Straight up. Fedora. What are we doing anyway? So we need to create a random number. Well, actually, let's not do that. We're going to just, we'll call this section adding a hash to our baloney. Add a hash. And I want to split up this shit, I think, and then integrate it, not in like... So we'll do it in sections of 3. Like, okay, here, let me get a new page just to demonstrate what I'm saying. So... I'm going to take a string, like if I have the word hello, I'm going to take this string, I want to split it, and then in between each string, I'm going to insert 3 characters. For example, like this. Then that could be probably solved pretty easily with like a pattern, honestly. Now, it's not going to be A's. Then, of course, how do we take that further? Well, I think you would want to scramble it too, but obviously, scrambling it's going to need us to do it. Well, after we do the hash, scramble it with the hash, bro. I mean, there's a lot of ways we could think about it. We could do hello and then completely scramble that shit. Like, what if we did as long as it's the same, or some shit like that. Like, oh, We've scrambled hello. It will always have to be made the same way though, so however we scramble it the first time, it needs to be unscrambled in that same way. Of course, that if we use a seed for scrambling, I already determined that was a bad idea, didn't I? Using a seed for the hash as well. Instead, just send a new hash each month or some shit like that. Or for the really paranoid, then they would need like a scrambler. Or like, not a scrambler, but like a fucking... It's kind of interesting, but usually with this sort of thing, you want to change your encryption keys regularly. Usually like once a month. It's how most platforms that do end-to-end encryption work. So we'll just go with that it's going to be on the user to take care of it themselves. What is your KDE Plasma version? I believe I'm using KDE 6. KDE Plasma 6. I don't know how to check that though. Maybe in system? Oh, never mind. I'm not going to look in there. Whoa, I didn't even realize I had a calendar on here. Wow, years? Oh god, guys, 2029, they can already schedule for... Oh god, it's been so long since 2019. Bro. Open info center? Got it. Got it, boss. Info center. Fedora, KDE, Plasma 6.6.3. Graphics platform is Wayland. Graphics is terrifying, guys. Whoa, cyber-powered PC. Bro, there's more information than Windows gives you in here. Oh shit, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't click on that one. Maybe I shouldn't click. I probably doxed. Probably doxed myself, bro. I swear. 6.6.3, guys. Alright, so then we're going to want to add 3 different letters on each one. We'll do the same hash. Just make it simple, we'll add that hash in there. I think this is how Bobcat did his shit, too. Kind of. So we'll take the first character. We'll break the string into multiple pieces. That's the idea. Okay. How does it explain this? So, so all of the same shit can be applied to strings as well. So can I do a slice of strings? Lowercase and uppercase are different. Exercises. Browse the documentation of standard bro, exercise is a fucking browse the documentation. I fucking hate the documentation, bro. Hurts my brain. Makes my brain go tired super fast. Browse the documentations of the standard.string, standard.array, standard.algorithm, and standard.range modules. Which are all shit we've done. Exercises. Browse Reddit, guys. Oh! Write a program that makes use of the concatenate operator. Alright. The user enters the first name. Read the line input out and print the part between the first and last E letters for a line. For example, when a line this line has 5 words to get what is that? So that's like needed to produce a slice. You may find the index of and last index of functions useful for getting the 2 indexes needed to create the slice. As it is not indicated in their documentation, the return types of index of and last index of are not int nor size t, but ptr diff t. You may have to define variables of that exact type. Huh? My brain is melting right now, but it's okay. The liquid ooze hasn't came out yet. Let's just wing it, guys. Let's make a slice of that shit. We'll call this one, should I just do string spaghetti? We'll call it string spaghetti. Can I declare a string outside of void main? Is that a thing I can do? String s, and that's going to be for a slice. And then, of course, we don't need to worry about it. Alright, guys, we did a good job. Wait. Why would you even do that? Don't even question it. Of course, we're gonna break it down. Between each space, there needs to be 3. But that's easy, because we can just take the whole thing and just put it in S. I'm pretty sure this won't compile. Let's go ahead and try that. It does compile. I mean, it works. Help. Alright, perfect. So what we can do now that we have this, is say, take S, for example, S equals, and then we can try to assign E to S. This is the scary part, guys. I mean, we can try this shit, but who knows if it's gonna work. Try to do the whole length of it. Whole length of the string, okay? And then Control S. Wait, remember last time we did that? No, don't do that shit. Just try to assign the whole of E to S. DMD encrypt. Cannot implicitly convert expression E of type string to string that, a string array. Okay. I see how it is. Well, let me just do that instead. See this shit? We're about to beat it. Wait. But how am I supposed to take a value of this shit? That's the thing. Maybe I need to declare this as that, and then do this the same way. They both need to be a string array. I mean, that technically means it's array. Oh. Ha ha ha. What the fuck? Can I implicitly convert expression strip and then assign it to string? Okay, let's see. Obviously, we can't do int for this either. DMD encrypt.d, and then it's trying to assign E to S. However, we needed to do that. I needed to do that. For God's sake, just make it work. Oh, it just works now, guys. Apparently it just works. Alright, hello. Perfect, it's gonna work. And then we'll add in the hash. The hash part. Perfect. So now what we're gonna do is while, and then we'll do an unconditional statement. I really like unconditional statements lately, actually. We'll create a hash first. Let's do that and up here. Actually, no need to even do that. Okay. Let's do string array. Let's just do a string array. We'll give it, hashes of this shit. Obviously, usually you put these in the beginning and end, though. That's the thing. What if you have something that's super long, right? And then you run out of space to put a hash in there. Half the shit will be well, it's not encrypted when it has the hash. Hash is just the step to make it impossible. Salt it with a hash, and then it's impossible to fucking decrypt without the hash. It's the HCAT. It's what we're making with this shit. The new HCAT algorithm. It's gonna be crackable. Totally crackable. Oh god. Well, actually, no. Once you have a hash in there, it's becomes supercomputer level computation required. I swear. Fucking impossible at that point. Hash, and then we'll assign the values of hash. And we'll give it a variety pack of different flavors. So we'll do letter, capital, lowercase, uppercase, capital for each section. see if this even compiles first. And then yeah, we'll do it like this. Give it a completely pattern. And give it as many as it needs. And then if it runs out of characters, that's fine. If it doesn't have enough characters. How about this? Every 3 regular characters. No. This just... Maybe each of these could... I mean, there's a billion ways you could come up with this shit, man. You got so many options. W0A. KO1. Alright, there's our hashes for the thing. Then, it's time to add those into our E. So when we have string S, it's just create the slice of S. And so what we'll do is that. And then we'll have it add a slice every 3 characters. So to do that, it's just going to be the same as the previous example that we covered earlier in the stream. It's going to be that same slice type of shit. So we'll do that. We'll do while true. Yeah, I don't know. While true, we'll just do this shit. Actually, the only reason we were able to do that before is because we took a negative number input for the end. And so that means that, yeah, that means we have to take some kind of ending input for this. So that would just be that it has no next number. If it has no next number, it shouldn't do anything. That's one way of doing it. Honestly, it doesn't. There's nothing stopping me from getting good at programming, guys. Become gooder at programming is what I'm trying to do. Wow, bro, I'm turning. My mind is fucking rotting with all this programming. Oh god. So we'll just. For now, we'll leave it as while true in case I decide to try to compile it. Now what we're going to need to do is take that previous example. Let's go into desktop, D-tools, multiplication, no, slices. Take my slice example, for example, slice.d, and just reference the hell out of that shit right there. This. Obviously, we don't need those if breaks, but what we do need is this shit. And so the last character, so what we're going to do beforehand, okay, I have an idea. And it's a really weird way of doing shit. Because you could do a counter method, or we could actually concatenate a character to the end that's going to be read as 1. So what we can do is concatenate that shit on there. So we'll take E and we'll add on a +1 at the very end. Now the +1 is going to get excluded after the hashing process is done. Then we'll move into, well actually, yeah, we'll be fine. It'll be part of, maybe it needs to have a 1 in there at the end anyway. But we want to try to unscramble it and get the same shit out too. That's like another thing. Let's see. E equals E and then append 1 at the end of the string. Just that way it knows that's the end point. Now, if you have less than there is hashes, that's when it becomes a problem. So the actual end hash, we're going to want to remove this one if we do that. Now, we are not going to do that. We might just do an incremental method, and then but that's like it gets more complex because then you need a count of what your length is. So you would take your string length, and that would be your count. So for example, while we would take our string, our length of our string. So I guess string.length is greater than, yeah, that's what we'll do. So we'll do while e dot length is actually we wouldn't even be doing s. While s dot length is less than e, do nothing, or do that. Okay, that's how it's gonna work. That's how I'm gonna do that. Well, this, the length of s, and then next step, getting in there with this encryption shit, will be, I think, we'll try, I don't even know, man. There's so much shit to do with that. Obviously, we're gonna put, I guess we'll do pairs of 2 characters. So if you had hello, instead of having, like, hello, you're gonna have HE, LL, and then O on its own. So, like, obviously, that's an issue. But, should we do it correctly, we should be able to just do the opposite steps. And then remove after each 2 once we have it decrypted. And then we have to get into how do we even encrypt it in the first place. This is just adding the hash to it. So this is my salt and pepper that's going to make it absolutely painful for whoever wants to read whatever we put into this array or string. And then I think the next step you would do with this would be to either, I'd just say put it in a file or something would be my next goal, is to learn how to do that shit. We'll see what we can do from here. Lots of places we can go with this. Obviously, very useful little tool to have. What am I doing with this? I need to be looking at the slice.d. Slice.d will give us the answers. Right, so we just do that. We'll do s equals s1, and then we'll do that. I'll just type it out over here. Why do I have that? Okay, so s equals s1 dot end of number. Was it end of number or was it minus? Oh yeah, it is just end of number. Don't do the other shit, bro. That shit's cursed. Remember last time we fucking screwed that shit up for like 30 minutes straight. And then once that will just add in our hashes now. So what we'll need to do is add. So on each of those, we're gonna append. Oh, hold on. That's where we need to save to A. So once we have that done, we're going to set the string length of E equals to 0. Effectively, what we're going to do is E.length equals 0. If we can even do a length for a string, I have a feeling that this is illegal. This is invalid. So that will work to set the length of my string, hopefully. And then we're going to add in our hashes. Now, if it doesn't work, at least I know how to do it. How to get how to do the idea. All right, it's kind of a foreign concept, but it's good to learn. It's pretty much just a fucking array. Good God, the amount of arrays in programming, dude. Arrays are fucking psychopathy. Good God, Gordon. All right, but anyway. E, so for every time it does that, is going to equal S, or it's going to append that, but then add on the hash. The same for the slice of hash. And since it has to do an iteration anyway, we're going to do an iterative process. So rather than do it like this, we're going to just do int. We're going to use this, and then we'll do b as a standard looping one. For now, it's just going to be an array length of 1. And I think we'll need multiple of them. We'll give it 2. Just in case. I mean, usually I don't even need to have more than 1 anymore. So I'm fucking super programmer or some shit. Oh yeah, super programmer. Fucking amazing. Control S. And then we'll have to do it. We'll do a loop instead. I'll do the more surefire solution because I prefer that. If it's more likely to work, it's going to be better. So we'll do b and then 0 is less than the length of the shit we're doing. Or actually is less than the length of hash. We're going to put that in here. So we're going to do hash dot length. That way we can return the hash length. Well, it's less than that or equal to that. That way we'll append all of these regardless. So if it doesn't have these, there is some issues, clearly. Because once you go to dehash it, we're going to need to recognize where these are at. But at least that's not that hard, okay? I mean, I'm a guy who likes to play with integers, not strings. That's because all I've done so far is play with integers. We're gonna add s. So we'll add s to e, but we also need to add the hash in, or add each layer of the hash, each one of these. This is a very good question of how I do that now. Clearly, we want to have, every time it goes up, we want to take the value of that, and then, well, that's going to work regardless, but we also want to take the value of our hash. So we want to concatenate that onto here. I have no idea if appending this plus concatenating it will work in the same statement. Who knows, guys? I think this is probably the most fucked up shit we're gonna do today. Hash, and then we'll do a brackets. Who knows if this will even work? B, and then we'll do 0. And then we'll do that, and then we'll have B plus plus. Or plus plus B. Not equal. Bro, we're doomed. Gordon. The terminals are screwing us over. Plus plus B semicolon gives us that. And that should be what I need to compile. Now we're going to compile it and it's going to give me 30 errors. Exactly. Hash declared here. Okay. So a string. Yes. Semicolon. Needed at the end of declaration of hash. Oh, how did I screw that up? Bro, it must be Kate screwing me over again. What is this shit? Why the hell is there this goddamn line here? Bro, what the fuck happened? This line is pissing me off. Straight up. Oh, God! Unidentified identifier. Unidentified identifier. Are those not... What? Can you not do an array as a, Maybe I'm not ready. Isn't a tuple, in Python... guys, in Python, a tuple is an array of strings. Tuple, Python. Bro, is this what it is? Is an immutable, ordered collection of elements that can hold items of different data types. Oh. Oh, I want tuples. Bro, I want tuples so bad in D. Bro, D with tuples? What's the next one even? Redirecting the standard input and output streams? Whoa. Okay, I don't know if I'm ready for this program because I don't know how to do a array of strings. So right, we have to do this. Each one's an unidentified identifier, which doesn't make any sense for me because I don't understand how that makes any sense. Obviously, it's not using these. They're trying to use them for something, but I don't know how that's working. Who knows? Not me, clearly. I think we've done enough studying for today. I think we need to stop before my brain gets fried by this. Like, look, we have this. It's assigning that. You'd assume it'd be like a number where you can do that exact same shit. Honestly, what we could do is do it the other method where I convert it to numbers. But I think for now, I think I've done enough for today. We did a little bit of slices. That's a good start because understanding slices. And we've covered strings now, so that's good. Which means as far as in the book, we're pretty far in. Ignore all this shit. This was. We've already learned all that shit already. Files, like this is the big thing here. Files, bro. File manipulation. That's gonna come in handy because then we'll get started on fish tech, bro. Straight up, gonna be the best game of all time. Fish tech. Gonna be a mod focused, community driven game. It's gonna be mine. It's gonna be the best video game ever. But it's set to release in 2036. Because that's when I think I could reasonably have it done by. So then you have auto and type of. I have no idea what those are going to do. The for loop, which is also useful. Ternary operator. Question mark. Literals. String literals, I guess, would be a thing. Formatted output. Formatted input. Do while, which we've already been introduced to. A for each. I bet that's useful for something. I don't know. Enum, functions, immutability, which is like one of those things it said earlier on. Lazy operators, program environment. And then we need to learn about OpenGL. But we're making good enough progress. I mean, a lot of this shit's just data science. That's what computer science is. So I'd like to thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time. And goodbye. I think I've done enough for today. Oh, wow. I didn't even know you could pull up that shit. Oh, look at that. You can just look at it using the cursor. That's interesting. That's good to know. Control S on my slice.b, bro. Oh. Before I log off, here's my beautiful background. It comes with a folder. I can click on that all I want and it won't do anything, but this one will. D tools versus D lang tools. Wait a second. What? It comes with a folder built in? Nobody wants that shit, bro.